Hello everyone who is ready to do some makeup. So I am super excited to be on here and to be going through my makeup routine with you guys. So I'm going to take you start to finish from, silk all the way up until the finishing touches, and I'm going to share my best tips as I go along. So if you're watching this live or on the replay, make sure you ask your questions. If I see it while I'm live, I will try and respond unless it gets too distracting, and in that case I will respond at the end. But okay, here we go. So first things first, whenever you're getting ready, move your hair out of your face, because you don't want to be getting your makeup products in your hair. That can lead to just oil and things not looking super great. So first things, move the hair out of your face so you have like your workspace, right? And then second is silk. Okay, silk I absolutely love. If you are someone that has large pores, oily skin, I find this really helps to mattify my skin. And so I do it first because you do want to put it on and let it sit while you're doing your other makeup before you put on your foundation or your tinted moisturizer. And then when it comes to applying, you see I'm doing these downward motions. That's because you have all those little hairs on your face and you want to lay them down. If you go in an upward motion, you're making all those little hairs stand straight up, right? And same thing if you have like dry skin and you have any of those scales, if you're going up, you're lifting those up. So you want to apply silk downward so that everything smoothes down and doesn't like stick up underneath your foundation or your tinted moisturizer. So that is first. Hi guys. Okay. And then I'm gonna move on to brows. So I like to do my brows and my eyeshadow while I am waiting for that silk to just completely set up, and then I'll put on my foundation or tinted moisturizer. So for brows, you see I went to it without even talking about it. You're going to want to comb your brows. So I comb them up, and then you get to decide if you like what style of brow you want. If you like them more bold, if you like them a little bit more natural looking. I prefer a natural brow for myself, but I want all my hairs to start going the same way, because if my brows look like this and I go to apply product on, I'm going to be fighting my own eyebrow hair trying to get the product where I want it, right? So you're going to want to make sure that the hairs are all in a line and out of your way before you start applying the brow product, okay? These are all tips that you can share with your customers while you're going live. And the other thing you can do is you can do one where you don't comb it and be like, it's so much harder, show how hard it is, and then show how much easier it makes it by just combing them. And that is the benefit of getting our brow creams. This is not the brush, but it comes with its own little dual-headed brush, which is an amazing selling point for your customers because they actually get the brush that they need for application with it. So that I think is amazing. So I'm using the color Blonde Taupe, and what I'm going to do to apply it is just pick up a little bit right here on the edge of this flat angled brush, and then I'm going to go in a line from where my eyebrow starts to the arch and then out to the tail. To find those points, let me get a straight brush. You're going to go from the corner of your nose through the inner corner of your eye and straight up. That is about where your eyebrow should begin. Then from corner of a nose through your pupil, that's where your arch should hit. And then corner of your nose, outer corner of your eye, and that is about where your tail should hit. Obviously everyone's a little bit different, but that is an easy trick if you're trying to figure out like, okay, how do I shape my brows? How do I know what goes where? Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and essentially make that line. So I just do one swoop going along that line, grab a little bit more, and then I'm gonna go down on the tail. Okay, so you can already start to see my shape. Now from here, you can do little upward strokes with the brush. You can go another line across the top and then fill it in. For me, it honestly just depends on the day. Today, I'm gonna go across the top a little bit and then back down, and then we're gonna do those little upward strokes. So the upward strokes are great to get a more natural looking brow versus like just having painted your brows on. And then I'm gonna go up here in this front area. And the other reason that I do my brows first is because then I can clean them up and I won't mess up any like foundation or anything that I put on. Okay, so there's one brow. We're happy with that. The other thing about eyebrows is, remember, they're more like cousins versus twins, or siblings versus twins, so they're not going to look exactly the same. You want to just make each eyebrow the best possible eyebrow that it can be. Okay, so if you have any questions about anything so far, just let me know. So now we're gonna do those little upward strokes. Okay, and then I will use my finger to just kind of like draw along anything, and that's the beauty of our cream brow products. And same thing if you were using Shadow Sense, is you do have that time to be able to kind of like fix and adjust, and that is something that makes it really nice for my customers as well, because it's not like you put something on your face initially and then it's like you can't get it off, you can't change it, or you can't adjust it. Okay, so there's brows. Now I have to take a vote really quick. So I had 3 shadow colors picked out for this, but my minis came. Do you want to see the fall trio that I picked out, which is Candlelight, Americano, and Rose Gold Glitter, or do you want to see me use the minis? Vote really, really quick. Let me know in the comments, minis or trio. Do the colored brow? Yes, they do. The colored brow creams do have Capixyl in them as well. Okay. Good morning from Australia. Okay, Christy says minis, so we're gonna go with minis. I felt like that. Okay, another vote for minis. I thought so. When I got them in, I'm like, I know you guys are gonna want to see them. So I have right here the Merry and Bright little mini here, and it has Blissful and Brilliant Shimmer Shadows. So this is my first time using these eyeshadows, so we are going to be able to go through them together and see how they apply. So before I put on any eyeshadows, I always start with, or I should say my eyeshadow look, I start with my base color, which is Candlelight. So I'm just going to apply that directly to the lid. And then I'm blending that out using one of the bigger shadow brushes that I have, because I'm just applying this all over. So I want to cover more space, so I use a bigger brush. If I'm wanting to do more detail work or only have the color go in a certain area, you're gonna want to use a smaller brush so that you have more control. But just like when you apply foundation, if you're trying to cover a large area, you're gonna want to use a larger brush, okay? So there we go, that is Candlelight. Now the reason that I do that, you don't need a separate primer or anything like that for our shadows. However, if you guys noticed before, which you probably didn't because I didn't point it out, my eyelids and my crease and the skin underneath my eyebrow are all different shades. And so if I start with Candlelight as my base, then I have a nice even blank canvas to then apply my other colors, and it makes them pop and apply so much easier. Okay, so now we're going to go in with we're gonna start with Blissful. If I can get it open. Oh no, guys, what if I can't open it? Oh no, the silk is on my hands. Okay, I don't want to like bite this tube on camera. Let me see if I can put it in my shirt. Is my face turning red? I can't get the lid off, you guys. Okay, we're gonna pivot. Let's see if I can get this one open. Oh my gosh, you guys, I can't get either one of them open. Like seriously, my hands are just like sliding off of it. Okay, so we're gonna go back to, I know I'm definitely red, I can see it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't blushed like in years. I really cannot get it open, you guys. Technical difficulties. Oh my gosh, I should have opened these beforehand. There we go. Okay, we got one. Whew. Let's cool it down for a second. All right, so tip, open your shadows if they're new before, because sometimes they can be difficult to get into, but it's fine. We're all in this together. So my face will come back down to normal color, and it's great because you'll be able to see the benefits of our foundations when I put them on. This is the Blissful, which is a brown. So I'm going to start by putting that in the outer corner and in the crease. So this color is similar to me to Hot Chocolate, but just not as dark. So this is actually a really pretty, really pretty brown. Okay, so I just put it here in this outer corner, and then I'm going to bring it up towards my eyebrow. Now, when you're applying the colors, kind of just get them where you want them first. You do have that window of time to like blend and adjust, and they do blend very easily, especially if you have that base shade. So watch what happens when I start blending that. I'm gonna apply this eye really quick though. Okay, so same thing, starting in that outer area. Where your brush hits first, that is where the most concentrated color is going to go. So I always kind of like start away from where I want to go. Like if I started here in the inner corner, then it would be darker there, but I want it to be more so outer corner and crease, okay? So then what you do is you take that same base brush as before, and you just gently blend that out. See how easily that blends? And it went from being kind of dark to being nice and light. And then you can go back if you want it to, you know, if you want to keep that color. But I always like to do my first blend with my base brush, and then I can say, okay, now I want to go back and apply a little bit more of that color here in the outer corner. So again, this is Blissful. This is one of the new browns. I'm gonna grab a little bit more. And I do want to have a decent darker outer color. So for fall, you know, all of the brown tones, golds, bronze, even pinks, all of those are just so pretty. Any of those fall tones. And then I'm gonna add a little bit more on this side as well. Hello, everybody. You missed my little embarrassing moment when I couldn't get the lid off the shadows. Okay. And that's all I do pretty much, is just add a little bit and then blend, add a little bit and blend. And when you are teaching your customers, you know, teach them how to blend. I find that sometimes it can be hard to blend and have it not look splotchy when you are blending it without that base color. So I always, my customers know this, that their first like shadow purchase or whenever they're new to the shadows, I'm always like, you need to pick out a base shade because it does make such a difference when it comes to applying, okay? And then I do want to apologize because there is light on one side because I'm sitting kind of on the side of a window. So one side of my face always looks brighter than the other. Okay, so that is the Blissful. Then the other shadow in that collection is called Brilliant Shimmer. And I should be able to open it now. Okay, look at that. That's how it's supposed to open, guys. No judging. Okay, and with this one, I'm going to use a flat brush. Oh, I should have mentioned this brush. So, big base brush, right? Because we want to cover a lot of ground. Smaller, more defined brush for the crease and the outer corner because I want more control of where it goes. If I were to apply that with this, it already takes up like half my whole eye, which means I'm going to be getting it all over the place. So smaller brush, more detail, more defined, more control. Bigger brush obviously covers a bigger area. So then with the Brilliant Shimmer, I'm gonna put this back in here really quick. There we go. I'm using this flat brush, and then I'm just going to pat this on that inner corner. So one of my favorite ways to do eyeshadows, and this works pretty much for everyone, it's what I teach to all my customers, is to get their base color, then to pick a duo. You have a lighter color for the outer corner, and a lighter color for the inner corner and a darker color for the outer corner. And you can create like a faux smoky eye every single time where you have that ombre between light and dark. Okay, so this again is Brilliant Shimmer. I'm gonna give that a second to sit, which by the way, both of these new shadows apply very, very well. And then I'm just going to softly blend those together because I don't want any harsh lines. I want more of that ombre effect. Okay. Now, sometimes if you want more of that like shock factor or that, you know, you can have more like harsh lines, but personally I like to do it, you know, a little bit less, depending on what I'm going for. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit more on this side. Now, here's the thing. You can see the light hitting this eye, so this is that Blissful Shimmer. Looks so pretty, I promise you. See, when I turn, you can see the shimmer, that it is equal, even if it doesn't look like it. Okay, so then from here, you could be done and you could add your lashes and mascara and everything, but I am going to do something. I'm going to add just a little extra pop to this by taking the rose gold glitter and just putting that pretty much right where that transition is, just to kind of give like a little spotlight of glitter right in there. And then let me know in the comments, how do you guys feel about eyeliner? Are you someone who loves eyeliner, or you're like, oh my gosh, I cannot figure it out, like I cannot get it together? Let me know where you're at with eyeliner. Okay, fancy, love it. Okay, and then that same flat brush, and then we're just patting it in together. So we see when I turn, now I got this glitter spotlight right here. Even opening it, you can see there's extra light right where that glitter is hitting. You can also apply this there using your finger, but you do have a little bit more control sometimes because obviously my finger is this big, and then I can pick what part of the brush I'm using to apply it. Okay, love eyeliner. All right, so for anyone watching this on the replay who's not an eyeliner girl, I'm going to show you my tip on doing eyeliner in a way that if you have very small lids, let me move this up really quick. So my eyes, if I look directly, like straight forward, I do not have a ton of lid space. So if I apply eyeliner and it is thick, it almost looks like I have black eyes because I don't have a ton of lid space. I always apply my makeup with my phone down a little bit so you can see a little bit more of my lid, but when I'm looking straight at you, you're not going to be able to see much of it. So what I found and what I do is I apply what's called a tight line, and I apply it pretty much literally on my lashes. Now, that makes it so easy. So if you're someone like, I cannot figure out the eyeliner, you are literally going to put the brush on your lashes when you apply it. Okay, let me see. Making sure my glitter didn't migrate. Okay, so then I need to hold this mirror. I'm gonna grab it really quick. Okay, so what I do, and I use the liquid. So I take the liquid and I make sure that, you know, there's not a ton on it, which, I mean, our liquid liner is amazing, so. Then what you're gonna do is you're going to obviously close your eye and then literally lay your eyeliner applicator on your lashes and then draw it across. Okay, and then I got pretty much all of my eye. Now I'm gonna go back and just right here in the front. And connect that all in. And now I got this teeny tiny little line. You can see a difference because it accentuates my lashes, and you can see it when my eyes are open. There's a little line there. And then when I put my lashes on, it's going to go and flow nicely together, but it does not go above my eye or my lash line very much, just enough to be able to see it, but not enough to where it cuts into my lid space. And then obviously from here, if you do want to make it a little bit thicker, you can. But that is how I like to do my eyeliner. Now, when you're, actually I'll do it on the other side too. When you are doing your liner, a tip, especially if you're using liquid, let it dry. Let it dry before you curl your lashes, because if you curl your lashes and you press that lash curler on the eyeliner, there's a good chance that it'll come off. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. So it's literally, I don't know if you guys can see if I'm close enough, like literally laying it on my lashes. So it's more on my lashes than it is on my lid. Okay, so then, while that is drying, now we're going to go into foundation. And if you guys don't have this or something similar, you should totally get one. There's a little oops pad in the back office that you can get as well that has little like tearaway sheets that I love using. But I also like using these because you can use it over and over again, and it's also something that you can use as a good giveaway for your customers, because it's just so nice to be able to use, especially as we transition summer to fall to winter and we start to lose some of our tan, right? It can be an easy way to mix foundations, which is what I'm going to use it for. So I'm going to use a little bit of dewy and a little bit of tan. And then I'm going to put some tinted moisturizer in there as well. Okay. So then I'm just going to take a brush, the end of it. Make sure your brushes are clean. Make sure you wash them, obviously. And then I'm going to mix all of that together. So individually, tan is too dark. It's a little too warm for my skin tone. Dewy is too light. But if I mix tan and dewy together, then it comes with a shade that's, you know, pretty close. But I like the undertones in the tinted moisturizer, so I like to mix all of them together. And then literally just mixing, and then once you apply it and you're done, then you'll just clean this off and you can use it again the next time. Okay. So now my primer that I put on the start of the video is completely dried. So when I apply my foundation, it's not going to lift up or remove the primer, because you want the primer to do its job, right? Okay. So now I'm using, I love this brush, by the way. And I'm going to do what's called a stippling technique, which is literally just pressing the brush into your skin. And you can see it's covering up all that redness from when I was embarrassed earlier. When I couldn't get the lid off the shadows. You know what, you just gotta roll with the punches sometimes. And that's all it is. And make sure you're showing your customers this, because if your customers go to apply their foundation or their tinted moisturizer and they're using a brush, maybe you did a brush as one of your giveaways, or they see you using it and so they get one and they apply it and they just go like this, like, look at that. That's not going to look very good. You're going to be putting on way too much. It's not going to blend out well. The motion is stippling, so literally patting into your face, okay? And one of the benefits of doing the stippling technique is you actually end up using less product, and it's not as heavy because you're pressing it in, and anything that isn't staying or being pressed in is staying on the brush. So it's a good way to get a more natural finish. It will be a little bit more of a, I don't want to say sheer because you can still have full coverage with it, but definitely a much more natural finish. Okay. And I will say our tinted moisturizers and foundations blend together beautifully, so you can't tell that I had, you know, 3 different shades or, you know, 2 different product lines. Okay. So as soon as I finish applying my foundation, I top it with powder, because if I'm going to use a blush or a powder to bronze, I want to make sure that my skin is not tacky. So when you first apply foundation or tinted moisturizer, your skin, I don't know if you can hear, is going to be kind of tacky. And if you apply your bronzer or your silver rose powder to tacky skin, it's going to stick where it first hits. So if you've ever tried to apply it and you're like, why is this splotchy? Why is it not spreading? It's probably because your skin was still damp or tacky. So if you take, for example, the light powder first and you apply that all over, now it's not tacky, now it's dry. So before I apply any powders, I always apply, or before I apply like blush or bronzer, I always apply the light powder first. In the summer, I use the medium. Okay? And that is going to make everything blend so much easier. So again, if you're someone who is having issues with any of these products applying, especially the powders, start with the translucent, the light, the medium, or the deep powder on your skin first, just to soak up any of that moisture or dampness that is making your skin tacky. Okay, now that that's on there, we're going to go back to the eyes really quick, and we're going to curl the lashes and apply the mascara. And then we're almost done because I only have a couple more things to show you guys. But what are you thinking about this look so far? So again, this is the Blissful and Brilliant Shimmer from the new mini collection, and then with a little bit of glitter from the Rose Gold glitter. Okay. I took my mirror down so I can't see. Oh, thank you. I was really thinking like, okay, I have to share all my tips, all the things, because I had to learn for myself. And I know I look crazy with my eye, like curling my eyelashes, but it's okay. I'm also someone who prefers to curl my lashes before the mascara. I feel like if I curl my lashes after the mascara, that it is harder on them. I do feel like it, because the mascara kind of sticks to it, and I don't like that sensation, so I always apply it before. Now, sometimes I might follow up with like a couple short little like curls afterwards just to kind of like amp it up a little bit, but I typically apply it first. Okay. Now I'm going to go in just with our regular black mascara. A tip for mascara, if you have problems getting it like on your eye, like your eyelid, is to look down when you apply it. So literally hold your mirror down, because if you're looking straight forward and applying it, look where your lashes go. It's going straight back up into like your crease and your brow bone. But if you look down, it's already pulling the lashes away from that area, so you have a little bit more grace when it comes to applying. So definitely look down. So I literally have my mirror down here so I can see. Okay. I love our mascara. Yes. Definitely look down. Okay, now I'm going to apply a little bit on this other eye. And then I'm going to apply some bronzer, because one of my favorite things to promote to my customers this time of year is our Bronze Dust powder, because guess what? Everyone right now is losing that summer glow, if you haven't already. We're a little behind everyone here in Florida because it's still sunny, but we are starting to get cooler weather as well. So we don't want to lose that glow though, right? We still like looking like we are nice and tan and bronzed. And so I like to share the Bronze Dust because it's a really easy way to kind of retain that summer glow. And if it's cold out, there's a good chance that you might already have kind of pink cheeks already because it's cold out, right? So what I do I'm like really picky about my mascara, so it's really hard for me not to like spend too much time. There we go, it's a little bit better. Adjusting it. Okay, so powder. So I applied my light powder first so that this one will apply easily. This is the Bronze Dust. Now, a little goes a long way, so I'm going to show you. That is all I have in my cap right now. So what I'll do is I will tap this in, and whatever's on there, then I tap off here, because it is literally so pigmented, you do not need very much at all. So with this, just with that tiny little bit that's on there, that's what I will tap my brush in. And that's really probably all I will need to apply. So for bronzer, like if you're contouring, you're down here, highlighting, you're up here. I kind of do right in between when I'm applying that Bronze Dust, because I just want to have just a little kiss of color out here. And it's got the shimmer in it, so it's not really giving me like a shadow, but it's not like a full true like highlight either. So I'm just gonna kind of apply it just right about at my cheekbones, just to give a little bit of color. And then the other spots that I'm gonna put it is right up near my hairline. This also helps if you're someone who has a really, really large forehead and you wanna make it look smaller. You can kind of literally contour your forehead by applying any of our a product that's deeper than your skin tone to kind of make it a little bit smaller. But just by applying a little bit, you can start to see it. There's almost like a shadow up here where it's like a little bit tanner, and then I look super bright in the center of my face, which is exactly what I want to go for. Now, obviously, if you like more color in your face, you can add blush from here. I have two more things I'm going to do. One of them, I believe, is on promo or is still available in the back office, and that is use our medium highlight on my inner eye area. If it is sold out, the concealer works amazing for this as well. But essentially what you're going to do, if you have dark circles or bags, You can see this shadow this line right here. If I look forward, you can't see them as much, but when I'm down, you can see. So what you can do, and I just did this at a football game, you're gonna take this medium highlight or concealer. I love the highlight though because it's got that shimmer, and you're gonna apply it pretty much right where those shadows are from your dark circles and your bags, and that is where you're going to apply this. And what I have found, especially when I do photo shoots and things like that, the light catches this highlight and it really makes all of those circles disappear in your photos, which is absolutely amazing. So it's something that I pretty much started doing anytime that I take photos, and I definitely really share it with my customers a lot as well. Okay, so it's got that nice bright light. Okay, and then if you're doing photo makeup, obviously your makeup is going to look a little bit more intense than you would probably have it in real life, but it's supposed to be like that so that it shows up on pictures. Okay, I got a little bit on my finger. All right, and then last thing is lips. So I was going to use a different color. I was going to use probably Berry or Bella, but let's go ahead and try out this new mini, and we'll just do a complete look using this mini collection. So obviously make sure you clean off your lips. Okay, first layer. You guys know the drill, right? I don't need to talk you through this. Okay, we're gonna let it dry for a second. Guys, who knew that this Merry and Bright collection could make such a good fall look, right? Okay, there's two. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at 2. Don't do as I do as I say. Do your third layer. But since it's 4:30 in the afternoon, I don't need it to last until like tomorrow. And then I'm gonna top it with the Bright Gloss. Okay, all right. There we have it. So I will go back through and see if there's any questions that I missed, but that is pretty much how I get ready. That is what I teach and share with my customers when it comes to getting ready with me. Start with the primer, go in a downward motion, let it set, do your eyes and brows while you're waiting for that to set. When you do your brows, make sure you comb them first. Figure out your brow markers for shaping your brows. And then start with a base color for your eyeshadow because it makes blending so much easier. I promise you, if you feel like your eyeshadow is looking splotchy when you try and blend it, put a base color first. And then also start with like a more medium tone than a super deep tone. It's going to be a lot more forgiving. When you apply your foundation or your tinted moisturizer, top with a layer of light, the clear, medium, or deep based on your skin tone so that it mattifies and picks up any of that tackiness so that when you apply your blush or your bronzer or anything like that, that it slides and glides and moves easily on the surface of your skin versus sticking right where it hits and then looking splotchy. And then using a lighter concealer than your skin tone or the highlight from the little highlight and contour duos that we have to brighten right in that inner corner. You can also put it on the outer corner to create a lift if you just want your eyes to look even more awesome, which I do that a lot too. So that's all I got. Thank you all for watching and have a wonderful rest of your day. And if you haven't already, make sure you get some of these minis because they're gorgeous. Okay, bye guys.